Hey y'all, Courtney Lyons here with Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, and welcome to my channel. I have all things diamond painting, and go ahead and make sure to follow. Alright, so today I have a post review for Butterfly Grove in Redwood Forest. This is Milnor Iverson is the artist, and then it was licensed and rendered by the one with the diamond art, and I have a lot to say about this one, so let's go ahead and get started, flip it over and do a reveal and then review. Ta-da! It is absolutely gorgeous. I do want to say though, I did already film this video and lost the footage. So I have since then, unfortunately I have since then sealed it. So the shine is a little bit different, but I have to say the Diamond Dots stuff that I used for sealing didn't really take too much of the shine away. In fact, it actually made it a little bit shinier. So, but even then, before that, and I will pop up a picture right here of it in the sunlight with my son holding it so that you can see what it looked like before it was sealed. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it just was, it turned out, like pulling this back out and looking at it, I really want to mount this, like dry mount this and hang it up because I really do think this turned out beautifully. All right, so let's go ahead and first start with, maybe I'll actually start with a pan over. Yeah, I'm going to insert a pan over here, even though you'll kind of see it in the sunlight, and then that way you can see a pan over. So that's different than I normally do since I usually do a pan over after the fact, but it just seemed to work well to put it in right now. So let me open up to where it is right here in my logbook. So it is a 60 widthwise and it is 75 centimeters tall. It was a square. I started it around January 14th. I put this in after the fact. I kind of based it off of when I opened it up because I know I kitted it up pretty soon after I had my unboxing video, and I finished August 31st. And I know that is a long time. That's a good 7 months here. It's almost 8 months. So it is a long time to have worked on this one, and there's quite a few reasons for that one. The main one being the confetti. I mean, let's just zoom in here really fast to this like one spot. I mean, actually probably this top side right here was the most confetti I've ever encountered in my life. So let's go ahead and look at this really fast. Okay, I'm gonna push it up this way. But look at how many color changes there are. Even just like the yellows and the greens and the blues. Like I swear every single square I did, with the exception of some of the greens, had every single color in it. So the exception would be that some of these lower places had maybe no yellow in them. And then some of the top ones maybe didn't have very much green in it. But other than that, I would say that everywhere you looked on this painting had each and every single one of these 44 colors in them, which is not like a huge color amount. Actually, for like a high confetti piece, that is a fair amount of color. But it just was, it was just, every single square had each and every single one of those 44 colors, and it was so long. I do want to give a shout out to some of my family members that helped me, especially my my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law and a couple. I always call them cousins because I have so many cousins. They're my nieces and nephews that helped me work on this one a little bit. Like, it wasn't a whole lot. I did most of it myself. But I did on this top square right here have help from a couple of the nephews and and from my mother-in-law as well. She did like a good big square up here. And then down here I had a little bit of help in certain places right here. For the most part, I did do this one myself, and that is why it took so long. But it was really nice because I had not even half of it done yet. And then when everyone came for the summer, they kind of jumped on board and helped a little bit. And then just having that little bit of help kick-started me to do this. And then I just wanted to finish it. Did I have fun with it? Yeah. Oh yeah, I had fun with it. The drills are beautiful, but it was definitely just a lot and it took a long time. So that's the long version of why it took so long to get this finished. So I did not do any enhancements, although I will say that they did accidentally give me fairy dust when I signed up for ABs, but I actually preferred the fairy dust. I think at the time they didn't even have, they call it something besides fairy dust. They didn't even have the fairy dust though on there at the time. And so otherwise I would have signed up for those, I think. But then they sent me the fairy dust anyway. And then when I opened up, I was like, oh, I must have signed up for the fairy dust. But when, I think it's from Kathy, it's Meg and Kathy, and I think it was maybe Kathy I was talking to. When I sent her the video, she says, oh no, we didn't send you the ABs. And I'm like, that's okay, I'll do the fairy dust. And she's like, no, I'll send you the ABs, that's what you asked for. So I ended up getting the fairy dust and the ABs, which is super awesome. And because I was able to pick and choose. So I didn't have enhancements, but I was able to pick and choose in the enhancements for what I wanted. So like in this big area right here, I did ABs, and it really, really is especially shiny and sparkly where that sunlight's coming in, rather than, and you can see it does have a bit of yellow in there, different colors that really does look like sunlight with these ABs that you wouldn't have gotten with fairy dust. But then in other spots, like right here, this purple is a fairy dust color. And I think that had that been only ABs, there would have been a sparkle there that just would have been too much for the trees. So I am glad that I did kind of break that up and do fairy dust in some places and ABs in others and stuff like that. At first too, when I saw this purple right here that was the fairy dust, I was kind of like, what the heck? That looks like it shouldn't be there. But it really still all came together, which was just really cool. So let's go. I did run out of one color, and while we're here talking about this, let's talk about trash too, because I think the reason I ran out of color is because there was so much trash in these drills. It was kind of insane. It did get pretty old to have to deal with the trash, and because of I ended up at some, like this whole first half, I chose not to choose any with holes unless it was an accident, because that's what I usually do with diamond painting. I don't like having the holes on the top. They kind of freak me out, actually. I don't, for whatever reason. I think that's something. I don't know what it's called. But it like really, it gives me the icks. And so I was like, I just didn't want to use them. But by the time I was coming around to the other side, I was like, I'm going to run out of drills if I keep throwing away the tabby ones and the ones with the holes on them. So I did try to put some down that maybe only had one hole rather than when there were lots of them, because that just freaks me out. The one hole, not as big of a deal. And I'd put one down. I know that's weird. I have no idea why. But yeah, so I think for that reason is the why I ran out of the one color. The nice thing is there really was, I'll show you where that was. It was like right, I think it was just like right here. It was a spot where it was right here. And it was not, I just used a different color that sort of matched. It was close enough, and so it did. You can't even tell a difference. I mean, especially with a confetti kit like this. So let's see. I did forget to say that it was my overall finish of 29 finishes and my 20th finish of 2024. There were 44 colors, which I said. It is a poured glue. The plastic over the top was really not good, but I believe there's an email where she talks about, because I emailed her beforehand, about the changes that she's made. I'm going to put that at the end, so it can be when, or I'll put an insert of the email, or what she said on the email, so that you can see some of the improvements that they have made. While we're right here, and speaking of the drills, I do want to say that they are resin drills, but the resin drills or the AB drills were not resin, those were AB. And they were slightly bigger. And for that reason, while I had no popping issues on this side, I can see I'm still pushing them in. I've sealed them and I'm still getting popping. Not too bad, like they're not like hopping off the canvas now that I've sealed it, but before they hit that, they really were hopping off the canvas. Let's see. Yeah, I just think it can't help but pop out right here. I might have to go on a second coat and seal it again before I put it away, because I'm feeling them right here again too. These ABs, since they were acrylic, I think that made them a lot bigger, just because they just happen to not be quite the same size as the resin drills. But it just was, it ended up being a popping nightmare quite a bit. And so I did not keep those drills. I did keep the fairy dust because the fairy dust was resin. That said, I still had a lot of enjoyment with this, even with the popping drills, because for the most part, they would stay down as long as I didn't move it too much. The problem was I ended up having to move it quite a bit. So I did, at the very end, just look for the drills that had disappeared, stick them back in, and then seal it. And then I threw away the rest of the drills because there's just so much trash in there. I just didn't think they were worth keeping. Although, I will say this about the drills for sure. They are so shiny, and not just because the ABs are in there. Speaking of the charting with the ABs and the fairy dust are everywhere. They were in each and every one of these squares and sprinkled randomly throughout. Not super randomly, like obviously there's some cohesiveness to this, but they are everywhere, which was kind of annoying to work with because I'm not a big fan of working with ABs, although I love the end result. But the shine in this that created, just you just can't see it the way that the camera is picking it up in person. It's just sparkly galore. Like, it's amazing. I was about to pull my hair out a little bit just with the ABs, and I'd have to put them down first, and then I could try to do it with the tweezers. Eventually, though, I kind of started giving up on the tweezers and just putting them down, so the coating did kind of get popped off, but I just kind of wanted to be done with the ABs on this, and then I'd put the other colors and have a lot more fun with it. But that's okay. It really was a beautiful end result. So speaking of rendering in the ABs, let's talk about the rendering on this. This is purely, I think very obvious, purely computer rendered. So which for this artwork, and let me see if I can show you the original artwork right here. But you'll see the original artwork on the thumbnail as well. It is a very, very soft, let me do this again. There we go, that always works better. Look how soft that is. It is so true to the actual artwork when rendered this way. I think if it had been hand rendered, this would be a different, like it'd still be beautiful, but it'd be a different artwork because just this Laura Milnor Iverson's artwork is such a soft, blended look that this really does do it justice. It certainly does it justice. So I'm very happy with the end result on this, besides the popping drills, and even then having been able to seal it does make it like I'm not worried about it anymore. So even though I'm probably gonna have to seal it again, but yeah, beautiful end result, computer rendered, but really lends itself to the actual original artwork. Okay, what else do we have on here? Lots of trash, discoloration, holes and tabs. Yes, ran out of the, yes, popping, yes. What would I buy from the one with the diamond art again? Absolutely, yeah, I will. I have already talked to her about the popping drills and running out. She says that they usually give lots and lots of drills so that you don't run out, and I feel like I wasn't very picky by the end there and I still ran out, but everything else, all the other colors, I did have absolutely plenty and more than enough of. So I don't know why it was just that one color that was the issue. I didn't worry about any other colors. As well as she did say that they do have the insurance, so I could have messaged her and asked her to send in some more, but I wanted this to be an August finish, and I finished August 31st, and it was the last square, and you obviously cannot even tell like a difference. So it wasn't worth getting it for me, but it is there. If you do run out of drills, there is insurance for it. So that is really reassuring. Also, I do want to point out that they are doing hand rendering on a lot of theirs. In fact, they have Esmeralda, and that's one that Diamond Art Club had done and then discontinued quickly. I think there was some issue with AI in that one. I don't even remember. And then there ended up being some misunderstanding. I'm not really sure what happened, but it did end up, for some reasons of issues, get discontinued. So, but the one with the diamond art did pick it up, and it is hand rendered. So you're not going to get the computer charted one with that, but you are going to get the actual hand rendering. So look on their site and see what they have there. I do believe that they've fixed the plastic as well. If I missed anything though, that I'll make sure to put it in the insert of what she said that they have worked on with improvements. But okay, I think that just about covers it. I guess I didn't talk about the glue. The glue was really good. It wasn't the stickiest of glues, but I also didn't have any problem, like real problem with stickiness. Just those ABs, I guess, but sometimes I had a hard time placing down because it would get stuck to even like my favorite putties for ABs. So, but other than that, the glue was not like bad. I think though that had the glue been a little stickier, I might not have had as much of a popping issue, but it was still really, really good glue. It was never like an issue for me where I thought about, oh, this glue or anything like that. And then I believe that's it. Symbol quality. Oh, I almost forgot about this. Symbol quality was really clear except for the eye color, which is a green color. I probably will try to show you if I can find the picture for it, because I did try to take pictures as I went along and pop it up here. That one had a little blur to it, but it was so easy to tell which one that was. It wasn't an issue. The thing I did have an issue with the symbols was that there was an M and there was a W. And sometimes I had to work with the canvas turned the other way. So the M and the W was no bueno, because not only were they an M and a W, but they were very similar in color, very pale peach and then pale beige color that were very easy to get switched. I would not be surprised if about half of these are switched, but I guess with this kind of rendering, it doesn't matter. And then I will also say that they also had an H and a long I. So it was just like a regular H, and then an I that was like really long on the top and bottom with a short in the middle. So it was like an H and then a sideways H. Also an issue, the sideways H was a little bit darker. That one wasn't as confusing as the M and the W, but it still was it still got us a couple times working on that one, especially for my family who were the kind of newbies, and they're kind of like, wait, I'm confused. And I'm like, I know. So those symbols, I would say, were kind of a bother through each and every square, where I had to pick and choose, and kind of could hurt my brain a little bit. But yeah, other than that it was fine. So I would say the things that needed improved on was the popping, which was probably the fact that the AB drills were acrylic instead of resin. That the drills were very trashy. But I always want to say this, they were also really, really shiny and very saturated colors. So they were just really good colors and not dusty. So that's one that's hard to explain. Sometimes drills can look dusty and not have trash, but these were just really trashy but not dusty. They were just very good, clear colors, even these darker colors, which are the ones that have the tendency to be dusty, but just very trashy. So still, it makes for a really good end result. And then the other thing that I would say to work on would be those symbols. But the things that I absolutely loved were, like I said, with the drill, quality besides the trash was really, really good. I do think that it ended up like lending itself really well, even with the random AB placements, not super random, but they were thought out, but obviously because it's a computer charted one, they were everywhere because that color was everywhere. So they were well thought out, but and made an beautiful end result. So I really loved that. The canvas is nice. I don't think I pointed that out. This canvas is thick and it's nice, and it was really nice and soft to work with, which was a lot of fun. And the glue I never really had any big issues with. And other than the one little hiccup with the symbols, they were really easy and clear to read. So, okay, that is pretty much it. I think I spoke at a very, very quick pace on this. I'm just realizing that now. And I think that's because I've already done this one. And I'm like, dang it, I have to do it again. So I think the first one was probably better. But I am very happy to be done with this one. And I will eventually be picking up a hand-charted one from them to try out. Not at the moment, but eventually. And I've already done a pan over. So that's it. If you guys made it to the end of this video, will you put some butterflies in for the Butterfly Grove? And let me know what you think about the rendering, and if this is a company that you think you'd pick up from based off of my review. And yeah, if you like, I really am curious about what you guys thought about the rendering with it being computer rendered like this, because most of the time I like a cleaner rendering, but I really liked this rendering for this particular artwork and think that it would have been better than a hand-charted. And you guys let me know. Also, if you have done one that is this insane, insanely confetti, please tell me your story down below, because it is a project for sure. Even though it was only 75 by 60, it felt like the biggest canvas I've ever done, which is Rose Library, and I'm single placing that, and that feels like it's going faster because it's hand-charted. But like I said, overall, I did absolutely love doing this one. Okay, that's it, guys. I apparently am in a chatty mood, and I'm gonna let you go before I keep talking. Bye.